What did a crush do that made you immediately lose interest? She tried to hook up with one of the members of Air Supply. That would have left me all out of love. He snapped his fingers at a waitress. Then as I looked mortified. First friend in college. She sat next to me in English class and we immediately clicked. One day she suggests we go out and study together for finals. And I didn't give it much thought. Turns out she liked me as much as I liked her. So you could imagine my reaction. It was what happened next that changed the mood. Orders a coffee. They make a small mistake and she flips out. Starts cursing at the cashier. Demanding a full refund. And an apology. I sit there confused. This is the same girl who looked shy and reserved when you first meet. She walks out. I apologize profusely and follow after her. She has the nerve to blame them and I tell her it won't work out. The last week was awkward to say the least. She refused to move seats or sat next to me if I moved and acted like I was to blame for not taking her side. Like. No. You don't treat people like that. Shat on a stage in Lorette in Spain. Not a crush but an ex. Jiggled the door handle while I was taking a shitty and then got angry that I wouldn't let her in. Huh? Why can't I come in? Are you not comfortable with me or something? We're dating. It had been 3 days. Edit. Corrected would to wouldn't and thank you for the karma strangers. I'd be upset if my BF locked themselves in the bathroom for 3 days. Shitty personality. Doesn't matter how hot you are. If all you have are looks people will notice once you get any one-on-one time with them. Said. Why do you hang out with that N anyway? Hard R. OG I don't know. Maybe cause he's been my best friend since 2nd grade and always has my back. That was enough for me to realize she's ugly. I was having a party and the drinks were flowing. Went to check on her cause she had disappeared for a while. As I opened the door, I see her sitting on a small wastebasket taking a shitty in my bedroom. I couldn't get that picture out of my head. I know I've done my fair share of dumb stuff. But still couldn't forget it. Edit. Well this blew up. Thanks for the gold you awesome random person. Edit 2. Woke up to platinum. Thanks so much. It's gonna be a good day. Edit 3. Just read through all the comments. I haven't laughed this hard in a long time. Sorry I couldn't reply to them all. He started fingering me while we made out. Then reached into his drawer. Pulled out lube and squirted it all over my nether region and my panties, which were still on. Then proceeds to grab my throat and kiss me before he leans over and takes a sip of water out of his water bottle. Only to then spit it onto the lubey vagina mess. A grown-ass man. Spat onto my vagina. I thought that only happened in PRN. That's a no from me dog. Played hard to get. No thanks. If you're gonna ghost me for days at a time and then get pissed off when I don't respond in 5 seconds then that's not my problem. My family is Jewish. And my grandfather survived the Holocaust. On the second date he told me he was a neo-Nazi. Or at least on the path to becoming one. When I told him I was Jewish. And also politically very left. He told me that he wanted to ossify the commie out of me. Never spoke again. Within the first 5 minutes of the date he told me women shouldn't work in corporate America because they take too many bathroom breaks. He had come to this conclusion by parking himself outside of the ladies' restroom at his office for an entire afternoon. I said this date is over. Stood up. And walked out. Kept comparing me to her druggy ex-husband who beat her. Stole her money. But you know. He was a good guy. She would always act stupid around me when I knew she wasn't. She liked me too. But I couldn't date a person that acted like that and she thought it was cute. Tried to convert me to his religion. It's funny because his dad tried to do the same thing to my mom when they were teens. They've been friends for over 30 years and at some point were interested in each other. Needless to say that my mom lost interest in his dad because of the same reason too. He was a complete racist and told me he tried to kill himself the night before because he would rather die than be crushed on by a monkey. This was in 4th grade and I was shattered. Called me a sexist for pointing out that she was improperly and dangerously using a power saw. I mean, I get that a lot of guys probably talk down to women using tools. But for FCK's sake, she was so close to losing a hand or worse. Edit. In her defense, there was a guy there who had been constantly asking to take over what she was doing even when she was doing fine. So I'm sure she was pretty sick of it by then. There is definitely a lot of sexism towards women doing construction related things. I rarely have crushes. But once. This girl I had a crush on in my class. We went to a bar restaurant near our school with other classmates. Not only she was haughty with everyone, she kept giving death gallows and talking in an inappropriate manner about the female waitress. I just lost interest after that night. He talked about how he wanted to loosen up some boring family at a wedding reception. So he spiked their drinks with party drugs. Did you go on a date with Bill Ponderosa? We were eating dinner out and he was rude to the server. Told him we were pretty close friends. It would be nice to add a please or thank you. He said, why should I? She's a waitress, implying he feels superior and I pay her to do her job. Gave me a 5-minute lecture on conditions where cheating is okay. He would steal people's tips off the bar counter when we were at a bar together with friends. Then he would offer to buy me food with it. No thank you. A woman I was talking to was recently divorced and had moved back in with her parents. She already had a child and a couple pets and was talking about getting another pet, and her parents told her no. She chose to go ahead and get another pet anyhow, and basically her parents began pushing her out the door. And it was a stressful situation for her, and I suggested she talk to her folks. I had a crush on a guy in high school who was a little bit of a rebel. Nothing serious, but definitely had a bad boy thing going on. One day in class the teacher told him to do something minor and he flipped out. Basically had a temper tantrum and refused. Totally killed all interest by being an asshole for no reason. She generalized everyone. She was also such a bitch to everyone that she didn't understand. He plays video games? Wow, when do you think he'll move out of his mother's basement? Wow, she wears so much makeup, can you imagine what she's hiding under that face? Just such a mean-spirited person, and it completely turned me off. He started dating one of my friends after I told her that I had a crush on him. She tried hooking up with every guy she knew I had a crush on. I felt like I couldn't like anyone. Edit. This was back in 2012. We're not on bad terms, but I rarely speak to her now. You should have picked a guy you absolutely thought was disgusting and then tell her you had a crush on him, lol. Co-worker at work had just a beautiful energy. Absolutely lovely to be around. Always smiling at everyone. And she would laugh at my jokes. And she made some comments from time to time that made me feel validated and understood, which was very, very flattering, like she guessed my passions in life and told them to me. With a big smile while looking me in the eyes. And I'm a reserved guy who doesn't share that stuff. All just very lovely. One day we're in the break room and she's talking to another guy the same way, and I'm consciously talking myself out of being jealous. You're not dating or anything, you don't even have her cell phone number. She's allowed to be lovely with other people now, come on, no reason to be jealous. Then when the guy leaves, she turns to the girl next to her and says, God, I hate that guy. And I had just been jealous that she was treating him exactly like she treats me. I still feel foolish when I think about it. Like, does she like me or hate me? Was pretty rude to and consistently teased his roommate's dog. Just be nice to animals. Not that hard. I actually got her and then realized she wasn't the person in my head that I fell in love with. So yeah, learn from that. Love a person for who they really are and not for who you perceive them to be. Edit. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. Much appreciated. He was making fun of a disabled woman. Instantly not interested. Got so drunk at a party that she shitty herself. I had a harmless crush on a married friend that I did not signal or act on. Ever. I've been the spurned wife before. I kept my distance and did everything short of unfriending him on Facebook. He slid on into my DMs right after my separation became public knowledge and he found out I was no longer married. He was still married to his wife, with a baby on the way. I didn't respond. They are divorced now. She's a really lovely person and deserves so much better. We would be great in person. Both of us would have a laugh and genuinely had an amazing connection. But trying to get a text back takes days. It's really difficult to arrange to spend more time together when she barely replies to me. I massively lost interest after this.